Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for July 30th through August 2nd, 2021. Well, we have been at this very strange place for the last week or so, and this is ongoing as we move into August. It's really interesting to check out the energies something that's been different in 2021 is that the energy of each month has been very different. And so looking at the astrology as we move into August can tell us something about the next chapter, which is basically this whole 0 point energy. Jupiter has just moved back into Aquarius, retrograde, making its second pass over that shift of ages point. Jupiter is a big energy around the expansion of human consciousness. And of course, the control energies have been all about trying to hold back human consciousness. And we're at a crux point in all of this. Now, Jupiter moving back over, retrograding back into Aquarius is an interesting energy because we're trying to move into the Aquarian age, right? But retrograde over this, so because of the retrograde, it's making 3 passes over this point. It just made its second pass as it's going retrograde, and then it will make its third again direct. So retrograde back into Aquarius brings up issues around the past Aquarian ages or issues of the Aquarian age that are keeping us from moving into the Aquarian age. So one of the energies of Aquarius is technology. And so an issue of the Aquarian energies is the misuse of technology. This is being shown to us so clearly right now, if you have eyes to see, and we're all going to have to face it. Every day a different story around this medical situation, this medical tyranny, this excuse to poison, kill, and take all of our human dignity and human rights. Basically. But so because this situation involves technological influence and it's on multiple fronts, mind control on the masses through technology, through media, and also through vibrational energies of 5G, a grid, technological grid, and now an injection to kind of put all the pieces together to be able to control humanity. So we're face to face with the dark side of technology, which is really Satan. I mean, you could equate Satan with AI. It's kind of like the absence of life. And this is exactly what we're coming up against. And it's pushing us into our full human potential, because the deal is that as long as the technologies that are available are not disclosed to humanity, as long as we don't know about these technologies, all the secret patents, all the things being used against us, all the space program, alien stuff, right? It all can be used against us as long as we don't know about it. As soon as we are aware and have full disclosure of these technologies, then they can't be used to control us. See how much has gone into making sure we don't know about these technologies? Indeed, a whole civilization buried in Atlantean time, which there's definitely an Atlantean time energy because it was an issue with technology. It speaks to this Aquarian age. So we're literally going back to Atlantis here with this Jupiter going back into Aquarius and facing these issues, because we cannot go forward without this being resolved. This Aquarian age is supposed to be the golden age. It's on a higher octave. It's a completely different vibrational frequency, a completely different reality, completely different relationship to time and to the physical. And this is exactly what the astrology is speaking to. But so it's interesting that we're having this kind of full-blown exposure of this medical tyranny, realizing it's about technology, and that these are the pitfalls of the Aquarian age, and we cannot get there. So this Jupiter back now at 29 degrees Aquarius, speaking to what's keeping us from moving forward into this. And it all comes down to this technology disclosure. Now, so we know we're waiting for big truths to come out into the world and what's going to happen and how is it going to happen and when, and, but it definitely has to happen. But there's another disclosure that's really coming to the foreground for supernova souls in this astrology. And that has to do with your potential and human potential, because you're here to lead the way in demonstrating the full human potential. And this is exactly the same technology that's being used against us. It's very similar to what's available to us in our higher intuitive abilities. And as a supernova soul, you've already developed these abilities. They got buried in the rubble in Atlantis, right? Potentially. So the disclosure that's really important is actually the disclosure of technologies and all the lies and all the control, but the disclosure of the power of the human potential, the human in its full potential. Okay, so Mars is just moved over into Virgo, and you can kind of feel this energy. It's like, okay, wait a minute, grounding out. Let's get organized. Let's sort through this. Now, Virgo is a sign. So we have Venus in Virgo and we have Mars in Virgo. And so a lot of Virgo energy, and it's good for us right now to kind of get grounded, get practical, figure out our next steps, maybe get some clarity. But we've been stuck at this 0 point, as Jupiter was at 0 degrees Pisces, Black Moon Lilith, 0 degrees Gemini, and then Venus came into that T-square in Virgo, and now Mars. So Mars and Jupiter had an exact opposition right as they were switching signs. And so it's speaking to this 0 point. It's like, okay, here we are. Here's the crux of the issue. Here's the wall. Here's the corner. Here's the hump. How do we get over it? How do we move into, how do we flip the switch, turn the tables? We're kind of no going back now. We got to go forward. And yet there's this emptiness, this lost feeling, this lack of direction. Nothing feels right. Nothing's working. And a lot of that has to do with because we are moving into a completely different reality. So a completely different way of manifesting, completely different way of moving in the world. So all tied into this hidden human potential, because Mars in this T-square, Mars and Jupiter, when they're together and interacting, is so powerful. And Mars and Jupiter opposite, it's like extracting and activating and the expansion into the new, but Jupiter's retrograde. So it's like, wait a minute, we can't go until we get this result. We can't have these pitfalls. We can't pretend that technology isn't trying to suck our soul, the human soul, and move into the new age, because we'll become robots. We can't do it, Now, Black Moon Lilith is moving to 1 degree Gemini today. So moving into Gemini, and Black Moon Lilith is the deepest, darkest, hidden secrets. And that has to do with the feminine, the dark side of the moon. And so Gemini is about communication, and it's about these deep, dark secrets coming into the light. So here we have this disclosure energy and disclosure of the misuse of technology, right? And at the same time, an invitation and a demand for supernova souls to begin disclosing their human potential. Now, so we have this energy of trying to move into awakening, technologies in the way, things are trying to come into light, because this technology is actually the technology that is the free energy technology that's been withheld from us is the feminine form of electricity, so it all ties back in. Really powerful messages, because we got Venus in Virgo, Mars just moved into Virgo, and Virgo is a sign of the empowered healer, of the clarity, the cleansing, the making things right and good and organized and grounded. And it's like, so Venus in Virgo is in exact square to the nodes of the moon. So that is very powerful, because the nodes of the moon represent future karma, future potential destiny and past karma that might be holding you back. In Gemini, North Node, where have we been silenced in our true voice? In Sagittarius, South Node, this kind of where we've gotten trapped in the old stories that have been keeping us playing out the old timelines. Now we're finding out, are these stories even true? Are we trapped in a simulation matrix? Like we were told this is what it is, and so we just kept playing out these trauma and drama stories, just allowing our powerful consciousness, our technology, to be used to enslave humanity. And it all goes down to this energy of this Virgo activation that's happening right now with this square to the nodes and Venus and Mars together, and of the healer, and that this energy of, because this Black Moon Lilith in Gemini is about this kind of speaking the truth and speaking the intuitive truth, which is the feminine truth, the deep feminine mysteries that became dark because they were hidden, but were never actually dark. You know, it all comes down to the misuse of technology. And this technology is actually meant for the betterment and the full expression of humanity. And so we got to get back in alignment with this purity. And so there's a massive activation of the healers on the planet and light workers who have been hiding in the shadows, pretending you're not even healers. You gave up. You've been hiding out because of the way you were targeted and persecuted in past lives, and maybe this life as well, right? And now this time, it's like these healers, we need this level of healing and light work and energy healing and true healers that understand the vitality and vibrational reality. We need these healers more than ever. So it's like, this is the radical disclosure, is those healers that were kept in the shadows through the persecution of the Piscean age. Because it's exactly the same thing. The technology that's been hidden from us and used against us is also the miracle healing technology. And once you experience that, as a power of medicine like homeopathy, classical homeopathy, when you get that right remedy and you feel the body reacting to that remedy and this massive healing, it's like a miracle energy in your own body, and you can never forget it. And no wonder there's been such an attack on alternative medicine. And yet now these healers are being called forward, right? So it's an activation of the destiny of the feminine, which is to come out of shadows as the healer. And being called back into our expression goes right along with this full potential. Now, this full potential of humanity, the reason why this is on the table is that Mercury and the Sun are coming together. And this weekend, they're coming together. And then early in the week on Monday, they will oppose Saturn. Exactly. And so the Sun and Mercury together in Leo is about this full potential. It's about the mind, the enlightened mind coming together with the full expression of human potential, the creative forces manifest and expressed as light in the world, right? And Mercury is our mind, so it's like getting our mind. Now, the mind is, our minds have been like absconded and kind of taken over by the psychological programming. And it's like, there's a whole energy out there of like, yeah, you just want to get rid of the mind. The mind is the devil. The mind is the monkey mind and the psychological programming. And in a lot of ways it is. But our mind is also, there's a higher octave to it. And the mind gets us out of the trap as well. The mind can be used to build a new reality every moment of every day by aligning with that optimal timeline, optimal vibration. And the South Node, when the South Node Sagittarius has been activated, we had huge feelings in Supernova Soul Tribe of like, I'm supposed to be doing something, I'm not doing it, I miss my calling, nothing's, it's like this feeling of responsibility to save the world or something. And it doesn't make sense, right? But maybe if you were buried in the rubble back in Atlantean time and all those stories, that you caused those catastrophes when in fact you did not. It's a good way to keep you in fear of your potential. but it's time to come out of the rubble. And so this human potential that wants to be expressed is very much activated with the Sun, Mercury, and Leo. And it's like, you guys, humans, you're so much more. You're so much more. Use your God-given gifts, unveil them, disclose them, work with them, build your world your way. And it's really interesting because a lot of people are feeling like the matrix is clamping down, and there's a lot of lower psychological attack going on, negative feelings, negative emotions, thoughts, patterns, right? And it's really powerful for us to be like, that's not me, right? And the energy of this is like, now it's time to use everything that's happening in this squeezing 0 point for you, to support you, to push you to this place of more expression, of your more potential. It's only gonna feel better. And then the higher mind, activating the mind in this enlightenment and vibrational reality. It's like, because there's all this stuff going on right now to try to do negative creating. The consciousness of humanity seems to have evolved beyond supporting that level of trauma. So it's not working. The negative factions are doing everything to try to keep us in that trauma pattern. And so this is where the war is, right here. And it is good to put aside your thoughts, but can we use that power of our thoughts, our emotions, to just claim and demand and command that we get to feel the way we want to feel in this new vibration, this higher energy, this truth of who we are? The truth is so powerful, and it's coming out more and more. This, like, it's just, there's this falling away of deception, right? Now, those healers throughout time got blamed, right? So being in this energy of this, an advanced soul, you have clarity in your consciousness, in your vibration. And what happens is that when you're in your truth, and I'm sure you've experienced this in your everyday life, you have a way of revealing other people's untruths that they don't really want revealed a lot of times. And what do you do as a sensitive healer soul that you are? You take it all on as your problem. You know, and we've been rolling over and playing dead and hiding in the shadows. And now it's really important, and actually it's crucial that we recognize that those forces of control and power have actually no power over us. Zero power over us. We are the most advanced consciousness, a human soul aware of itself as consciousness in a body, the highest form of life. And why? Because we have direct access to this life force. Everything they want to separate us from, this ability to heal ourselves. So a huge karmic purge is going on for you healers. And the more healing ability you have, the more separated you are from it, usually because of those traumas. And recognizing where you and your truth has caused disruption throughout your past lives, your family life, this life, and then you took on that garbage as your problem. And it was never yours. And it's exactly what happened in Atlantean time. We never created that catastrophe. That was a setup. And we've been taking the blame for this fall, this shame, this low self-worth, this programming in humanity, and then these healers just taking on the garbage. Well, of course it's my fault, right? And it's like, whoa, we got to get some self-respect. Now, this is what's going on because the Sun and Mercury together in Leo, that's powerful in itself, this Mercury catching back up to the Sun after the retrograde. But in exact opposition to Saturn in Aquarius, speaking to how in retrograde, how are we going to build in this new energy? What are the structures that can support us in this new age? Now, then the Sun and Mercury will go on to square up with Uranus. So they're triggering this Saturn square Uranus, which is the astrology of 2021. And so we talked about how these astrologies are happening out there, the bigger planets, but we don't feel it until our personal planets get involved. And that's exactly what's going on. Mercury, Sun, the human potential to overcome all, right? Because everything that's affecting us in that psychological control is exactly that, psychological programming. It's not who we are. We are so much more. So it's not about fighting and going against the programming. It's about vibrating and resonating in that human potential that's just cannot be held down by those mechanisms. As long as we think it can hold us down, it can. And that's, again, it's coming back to that experience. If you've ever had a miracle healing and felt the vitality of the body, and it's like, cannot be held down. And now it's time to live the miracle, get the miracle healers back on board, on stage, back in light. This is the disclosure. This is the disclosure. Because the Saturn square Uranus is speaking to what are the structures of the new age, and Uranus and Taurus, it requires a revolution of wealth. And what we're doing right now, and the tables turning in our reality right now, is an opportunity to come back into a massive realization of what really matters. And guess what really matters? If you don't have health and vitality, you don't have anything. You don't have life. So these healers that work with this energy, restore this energy, see and live and breathe in this energy, that is the most valuable thing. We need you healers more than ever. And it's right now, it's happening. It's a very, very strange time where this massive disclosure is taking place before our eyes of medical tyranny, big pharma, all the lies, eugenics program, and creating a disease so you can vaccinate to create more disease. And what is going to help and catch and hold humanity right now? It's those healers that were persecuted in the Piscean age. So are you ready for your disclosure? This revolution of wealth. Is this uncovering of what's within you. These beautiful gifts and skills you probably didn't know you had, although they've been aching away inside of you, making you feel lost and empty and heavy and a burden, right? It's like these gifts within you, because the most powerful gifts you have, which is what we take with us lifetime through lifetime in our soul development, have been the most hidden. So is this why we're all confused about what we're supposed to be doing right now? Because the thing we're supposed to be doing is the deepest hidden in our consciousness. And are you ready for that to be revealed? Right? The black moon Lilith revealing of the shadows of the feminine is bringing that healer out from underneath all that shame. And coming back into truth, right? The disclosure of truth is the disclosure of the good and the true and the beautiful. There's really no difference between absolute truth and love and God. They're all the same. So can we live and breathe in this truth now? I'm not going to back down and take on your shit. I'm not going to take the blame anymore. I'm not going to hold that. It doesn't fit my vibration. It's burying me, and we got to get out of the rubble, right? So really, really powerful energies. The combination of this astrology as we move into August, really, really interesting. So we got that T-square at 0 point, Jupiter retrograde, the second passing over the Pisces, 0 degrees Pisces, shift of ages moment. Still point just before the tables turn. And then Sun, Mercury, massive human potential is the only way we get into the Aquarian age. And the structures require a revolution of wealth. And Venus in square to the nodes, the crossroads, destiny crossroads, where our feminine is being called back to the stage into this beautiful balance and perfect harmony, where we have this in our moment, in our world, in our reality, that harmony and that peace. This is so important right now because the fear that's going to come from realizing it's almost like the fear that's been used to control humanity and keep them in this asleep, comatose state. That fear is going to backlash as the fear of the control, as the control energies, the tyranny is exposed, this medical tyranny. There's going to be waves of fear as people are triggered into that energy because they've been so programmed with fear. And now they're fearing the controllers. And so, but it's all a story, right? This is all playing out in those old stories. And you're here to hold the peace and hold the harmony and know everything's okay. This is exactly why you're here, because you have already experienced different states. You've experienced spiritual ascension. You've been that miracle healer. You've experienced miracles in this. You got to, so you have this massive wealth and massive power to hold that peace and harmony and know that the fear is not real. It's just not real. It's a story. But there is going to be, I feel this like encroaching fear, but it's fake. There's no roots to it because the fear is coming from the recognition that how much we've been lied to, you know? So it's like a stage in the journey to more health. It's that healing crisis. And when you are aware of that psychological programming and that energy and being like, oh, that's not me. Oh, that's not real. Oh, that's not a story. I'm here for this. Oh, yeah, anchor in. Oh, yeah, reach out to your soul group members. We are all here together. We're all doing this. We know what's real. And we're not playing the game anymore. And every day, more and more people are stepping right out of the matrix, using that psychological attack, squeezing bad, trauma, disappointment, failure, and just pushing right up out into your own beautiful existence in that Gaia consciousness, that beautiful vision of what we can all know inside of ourselves as advanced souls who were there at the beginning of the seeding of this earth, the vision of what earth wants to become. And we're just haven't even gotten started, right? But it's been a long journey through the dark. And we're just about to climb up out of that cave. And you're here to lead the way because you're brave. You went through it all. You went deep into the darkness. And that's a really interesting energy. The power of being an advanced soul, aware of itself in a body, gives you permission to work with this God energy. So a being like an angel that's not in a body that's trying to help cannot interfere in the way you are allowed to interfere because you're here. You went through the story. This is why you did it. You went down into the darkest places for this. And that gives you the right and the power and the responsibility to use your power in your full human potential to claim your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, your vibration, and use our capacities, mental, intuitive capacities to build that new world right here, right now in your consciousness. And you hold to it and you say, nope, everything's going to come challenge it. Nope, this is the way it is. So really interesting times, just this combination, because we've got Mars activated in the T-square with Black Moon, Lilith, and Jupiter. So huge. Neptune, Venus square the nodes, Mercury and Sun. So all of our very personal day-to-day planets are involved in this massive play of events as we try to turn the corner. And it's all coming dark to light, a full disclosure. And it seems like, full disclosure of the dark and the technology and the control and the, all the false history and the false lies in our science books. But the true disclosure is these healers that have been hiding in the wings, waiting for it to be safe again, and go ahead and validate how hard it's been and validate the fear of programming you've had to overcome and validate that yes, you had to go underground. You had to hide. You had to hide even from yourself to just stay safe and make it through. But there's a way bigger picture to what in the heck you're doing here. And it's so beautiful and so glorious. And it's time to step in, right? Together. So let's see what's around the corner. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and be present with the disclosure of the wealth that you are as we move into the abundance of human potential now coming out of the shadows to be expressed yet again. And thank you for being here and leading the way and being brave. We need you. You're so valuable. And I know you were told you're nothing, but being nothing is pretty cool too, because it leaves more room for the truth of who you really are in your God expression. Just getting out, dropping all the old stories, right? And that's where we come back to this. Use these times, use this intensity, use the psychic attack for your benefit, of every moment, every day, living and breathing your truth, which is God truth, which is the truth, which is love and light and peace and harmony. And so here we are. And thanks so much for being here. Have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you on the next update. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you being part of the Supernova Soul Tribe. Means so much to me to have you with me on this journey. I can feel you out there. And I hope you can feel me and our love growing together on this lightship adventure, supernova experience together. So I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.